Shalom, family. This is Judah, the Hebrew. The Hebrew awakening is happening right now, and these are the signs. Many of our people are stuck in a place that is destined for doom, but they have not eyes to see nor ears to hear. Unfortunately, that's something they will have to remedy themselves. All I can do is lead the horse to the water, but I can't make him drink. This message is deeply aligned with the prophetic burden of restoration. This is what I call my scrolls of fire. What I'm sensing is not just a delay in awareness. It's a spiritual blindness engineered by centuries of Christian overlays, dislocation, and identity theft. The awakening is happening, yes, but many of the scattered are still asleep in systems that taught them to forget. Why many can't discern the awakening. Disconnection from ancestral time and rhythm. Without sacred timekeeping, anchored in the lights of Genesis chapter 1 and verse 14, many are trapped in Gregorian cycles, unable to feel the pulse of prophetic seasons. If you don't know spiritually where you are, you won't know what's happening. Colonial naming and identity erasures. This is a very important part of this lesson. You need to really consider changing your colonial name. It will make a big difference. You need to go back to your ancestral accounts of who you are, back to the beginning. Get rid of those colonial names. The scattered were renamed, they were reclassified, and they were reprogrammed. Without restored names, tribal markers, and covenant memory, they can't recognize themselves in prophecy. This is a big problem. They read about the remnant, but they don't realize they are the remnant. Religious overlays and doctrinal fog. Christian and Greco-Roman overlays have taught the scattered to expect prophecy through empires, approved channels, temples, pulpits, and denominations. But the Most High is moving outside that camp in the wilderness voices, visual scrolls, and ancestral fires. They lack prophetic instruction and visual teaching, which is what I do my very best to do. I try to make this elementary. Many have never seen the prophetic cycle laid out visually. They've never been taught how to test events according to Torah or celestial signs and covenant ethics. That's why my scrolls, my grids, and my militant teaching infrastructure are not just helpful, they are urgent. So what are we witnessing? You are seeing the gap between awakening and recognition. The Most High is stirring hearts, but without instruction, which I bring to you, many will not be able to discern this moment. That's why my teachings is so critical. My teachings is not like the majority of YouTube teachers or anybody else for that matter. I'm in a class by myself pretty much. And I'm not boasting, I'm not bragging. But I intentionally separate myself from the traditional teaching methods because my intent is for you to see and understand. And if I don't deliver clearly, my purpose is defeated. So that's why my teachings are so critical. To build a reproducible teaching aids, to restore sacred time and tribal identity, to equip the remnant to test all things by Torah. I'm not just teaching. I'm activating prophetic awareness in a people who've been trained to sleep through their own deliverance. Because the awakening of the scattered isn't just spiritual. It's prophetically timed and visibly unfolding. The Most High, excuse me. Hello?
Hello? Yeah, I sent you a message.
You sent me a message?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm already at the airport.
You at the airport?
Yeah, I'm at the airport already.
Okay, well, just watch for
I'll send you my picture so you can send them.
I sent you a picture, right?
Yeah, you sent me a picture and I sent them a picture so you can send to them so they can see me.
What?
I sent you my photo so it can be easier for them to recognize me.
I'm not understanding what you're saying.
No, I mean, I sent you a photo of mine, the way it's dressed today, so whenever they see me, they can recognize me who is coming to pick up.
Okay, I got you. So you want me to send her the picture?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in the middle of doing a lesson, but let me go ahead and do that right now.
Okay.
Okay, talk to you later. I apologize, family. Give me 1 minute. Y'all forgive me for that. I have somebody coming in from South Africa today, and they're at the airport. I have a driver picking them up, so y'all pardon me for that. Okay, where was I? All right. Because the awakening of the scattered isn't just spiritual, it's prophetically timed and visibly unfolding. The Most High is stirring his remnant at this very moment, and those with eyes to see will recognize the signs. There's specific events that point to this awakening, grounded in Torah patterns and ancestral discernments, are scattered descendants or reclaiming their Hebrew names. This is important. They're discovering their tribal lineage and the covenant markers. Many are rejecting colonial surnames like Tom, Dick, and Harry or Jane Doe. All this stuff, get rid of that. Go back to who you are. Yes, many are rejecting these colonial surnames and embracing names like mine, for example, Judah or Zion, Yasharel, not as a trend, but as a prophetic obedience. This mirrors Ezekiel chapter 37, the dry bones rising and being reassembled by breath and identity. So let's look at Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 1. The hand of Yah was on me, and he brought me out by his spirit and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones. He led me back and forth among them, and I saw a great many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were very dry. He asked me, Son of man, can these bones live? This prophecy is currently in action as we speak. The very lessons that I teach is testimony to Ezekiel chapter 37. I am prophesying to the dry bones, and many of you are waking up. Number 2, return to Torah and covenant ethics. A growing remnant is rejecting Greco-Roman overlays and returning to Torah fidelity. Shabbat, clean foods, modim, and ancestral timekeeping are being restored, not by institutional decree, but by spirit-led conviction and the teachings of the sacred calendar. Number 3, celestial signs and time realignment. Many are waking to the false Gregorian calendar and restoring sacred time base on sun, moon, and stars. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 14. Enoch's calendar, lunar gates, and priestly cycles are being reactivated. Is that not what I've been doing? Solar and lunar eclipses, these are very important. Blood moons and rare alignments are being discerned as prophetic markers, not random events. Exposure of religious and scientific Greco-Roman overlays. The remnant is challenging the Christian distortions of Scripture, Greco-Roman cosmology, colonial theology, and false messianic images. This is part of the war against deception. This is fulfilled in Isaiah chapter 29. In that day the deaf shall hear the words of the scroll. Let's look at Isaiah 29. This is a piercing prophetic indictment against hidden counsel, spiritual blindness, and deceptive overlays. Exactly the kind of war we're waging through scrolls of fire. Isaiah 29 and verse 15 declares, this verse exposes the arrogance of those who think they can conceal their schemes from the Most High. It's not just about secrecy, it's about the systemic erasure, the manipulation of sacred texts, and the substitution of divine truth with man-made overlays. The chapter continues to describe a people who honor Yah with their lips, but whose hearts are far removed. Their reverence taught by rote tradition rather than covenant fidelity. My work is reclaiming ancestral timekeeping, exposing Greco-Roman distortions, and activating the remnant. This is a direct counter to this deception. Isaiah chapter 29 doesn't just warn, it also promises reversal. Verse 18 speaks of deaf hearing the scrolls. That's right, those that couldn't hear before, now they will start to hear. That's verse 18 in Isaiah 29. It speaks of the deaf hearing the scrolls and the blind seeing out of obscurity. That's visual scroll warfare. That's ancestral fire. The rise of wilderness teachers and visual scrolls is on the up. Institutional pulpits are losing grip. All the churches are starting to fall, while wilderness voices like my scrolls of fire are rising. Visual teaching aids, tribal seals, and militant scrolls are equipping the remnant to test all things with Torah. This reflects Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 15. I will give you shepherds after my own heart. Let's look at Jeremiah. Then I will give you shepherds after my own heart, who will lead you with knowledge and understanding. Is this not exactly what I'm doing on this channel? And then the global shaking and exodus patterns. Political unrest. These are the signs that you need to acknowledge. They are happening right around you, all around you. Political unrest. You know that's what's going on right now. economic collapse, you see it, and environmental judgments are triggering migration, separation, and spiritual hunger. Many are relocating, not for comfort, but as prophetic acts of restoration, just like I did. This echoes Exodus and Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 12. He will gather the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Let's take a look at it. He will raise a banner for the nations and gather the exiles of Israel. He will assemble the scattered people of Judah from the four quarters of the earth. And the revelation of hidden scrolls and buried texts, books like Enoch, Jubilees, Jasher, and the testaments of the 12 patriarchs are being recovered. These are the books that most of these teachers out there claim pseudepigrapha. They won't touch them. These texts carry ancestral fire, celestial order, and warnings for the end-time remnant. Their reappearance is part of Daniel chapter 12, verse 4. Seal the book until the time of the end. Let's look at Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4. But you, Daniel, roll up and seal the words of the scroll until the time of the end. Many will go there and there to increase. I'm sorry, let me get this right. Many will go here and there to increase knowledge. Just in case you've been wondering which books Daniel was told to seal, now you know. They were Enoch, Jubilees, Jasher, and the 12 patriarchs, just to name a few. So let's look at more of Daniel for a clearer understanding. Verse 5 of Daniel chapter 12. Then I, Daniel, looked, and there before me stood two others, one on this bank of the river and one on the opposite bank. One of them said to the man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, how long will it be before these astonishing things are fulfilled? The man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, lifted his right hand and his left hand toward heaven. And I heard him swear by him who lives forever, saying, it will be for a time, times, and half a time. When the power of the holy people has been finally broken, all these things will be completed. I heard, but I did not understand. So I asked my Creator, what will the outcome of all of this be? He replied, go your way, Daniel, because the words are rolled up and sealed until the time of the end. That's where we are. Many will be purified, made spotless, and refined. Y'all really need to listen closely to what is being said to Daniel. But the wicked will continue to be wicked. None of the wicked will understand, but those who are wise will understand. So let's focus on verse 7 of Daniel chapter 12. This verse, when the power of the holy people has been finally broken, that sounds tough on the surface, from Daniel chapter 12 verse 7, is one of the most sobering prophetic markers in Scripture. It signals a climatic moment of tribulation, not just physical oppression, but the complete scattering, humbling, stripping of strength from the remnant who holds to covenant truth. Now, on the surface of Daniel 12 and 7, it seems like defeat for the remnant. But wait, this is not defeat, but refinement through fire. It's the moment when all external strength is shattered, forcing total obedience on Yah. It echoes Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 36. Yah will judge his people and have compassion when he sees their power is gone. Y'all get it? It's a prophetic reset where false coverings are stripped and only covenant fidelity remains. This is the collapse of all false scaffolding, colonial religion, Greco-Roman overlays, institutional distortions. It's the breaking of the pride, the compromise, the mixture, so that the remnant can be rebuilt in purity. It's the moment before deliverance, when the remnant is finally ready to be restored. Daniel chapter 12 verse 7 says, when the shattering of the power of the holy people comes to an end, all of these things will be completed. This means the prophetic timeline hinges on this breaking point, but it's not the end of the remnant. It's the end of deception. Are y'all getting this? This is the end of deception, the end of Christian theology and Greco-Roman mixture, the end of delay. I'm not just perceiving the awakening. I'm living inside of it. And I want to share this amazing revelation with my family. We are living witnesses to the world's most greatest events, which means that people need to recognize the truth and separate this truth from the Christian lies and distortions, or else. Shalom.